When it's come to a man knocking a woman or a woman was knocking a man, this particular game here is one of the sweetest game that you can ever experience or play, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I love that particular game so much because it keeps you active, it keeps you very passionate, and it actually make all your veins within your body system actually act actively, ladies and gentlemen, and efficiently or effectively. Guess what? This man has actually been arrested by the Ghana police service because this guy has actually done something which is actually above the constitutional limit here in Ghana. Okay, now officially it has actually been reported that this guy here, this man here, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? This guy have actually decided, to buy his own girlfriend because the girlfriend actually denied him with the rights. Yes, guess what? This is not the only development which is actually going to shock you and devastate you today in Ghana. Now, another development is also unfolding. This man has actually murdered himself in a suspected assassination or in a suspected suicide, which simply means that this guy has actually taken his own life. And I strongly condemn it rather. Sorry. So it is not actually acceptable for you to actually do that, ladies and gentlemen. This particular teacher here, he's happens to be a teacher, and guess what? He's actually using his government and money to actually renovate a highway from Accra to Kumasi. Let us unfold everything here step by step. Now, before that, please make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell in case you are not yet part of this particular community. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with this particular one here.
Oh, you don't have police court according to report, so
ladies and gentlemen, according to the official updates and legal updates, the moment the Ghana police actually heard that a development like this actually wasn't happening, they actually rushed to the scene. And according to those who were able to actually assess the inner scene, they said that our man actually died in a suspected suicide, which simply means that he did that out of intention. And the question that I actually asked myself immediately is that what could actually be the cause of this? Because someone cannot just get up and just out of happiness, out of a good health, out of a good conditions, and just do this. Definitely there will be a cause, and we have to make sure that we identify that cause and how to actually block the cause or take away the cause so that these conditions won't repeat itself in the nearest future in someone's life, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I condemn this because no matter what you're actually going through in this life, ladies and gentlemen, you can still manage it. You have the ability to manage it. So always be patient. This is the advice I have for you and myself, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, let me also shock you with this particular woman's story. It is different. This is a separate update for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this guy official has actually decided to go against the law of Ghana. The state was no law. The state was no constitution. You understand me, ladies and gentlemen? By just buying his own girlfriend because the girlfriend actually denied him with logo. Chamai, I know that this is going to shock you, or maybe it is actually going to sound funny to you, but let me tell you, if I happen to be a lady, trust me, this game is actually a professional game, a natural game, which men, we don't actually want to joke with it. And of course, since you have actually accepted the fact that you want to actually go a mile in terms of a relationship with us, trust me, we will become your responsibility, and you will become my responsibility or our responsibility. So when it is actually when you attend, make sure that you do your distance. You take your responsibility seriously. Sometimes you actually touch her and she will be like, I am tired. Charlie, that is an excuse for you to deny him with his was not right. So if somebody actually did this, now I don't actually know. Look, the official statement has not actually stated that. Look, maybe it actually happened consistently, but I believe that I'm actually suspecting this case here because I think that it can't just happen once and Mr. Man will just get up and do something like this. Definitely, it means that behind the scene, it was actually not happening always. That is why this man actually, decided to end it this way. But it is actually totally against the constitution and the state law. Everywhere you actually go, ladies and gentlemen. So this is something we have to make sure that we all learn from it, ladies and gentlemen. You just don't actually go. If you're actually what cooperating with someone in terms of a relationship, and a person is actually denying you what you are right. Okay, make sure that you walk out of that relationship instead of doing something which is actually totally against the constitution and is actually going to end you in prison or in jail, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guess what? This man's too, his update is different. He's actually a young teacher here in Ghana. So this man actually decided to volunteer his hard-earned government's money to the state by renovating an Accra to Kumasi highway.
Now, individually, the ejinasa or bo ejuma. Chama, let's say, ejuma we are buying a shower now. One away, one. Honorable Yamisha. Now, wow, they will pay cement new BBR.
Charlie. My Musado be at ya.
Honestly, for me, have never used this particular way. So in case you have actually used this particular highway before, you're going to testify it whether it is good or not. Okay, so this guy actually decided to actually use his money to buy cement and other stuff to make sure that he renovate or reconstruct. Okay, let me put this that way. Okay, to renovate the highway from Kumasi to to Accra. That is what I mean. How I actually heard this, ladies and gentlemen. And he is actually a patriotic person. He wish he could have actually done it by being a politician or let's say that a leader in power. But this is where his power actually reach. I mean, as a patriotic Ghanaian, he used his money to renovate a way so that people will actually use it. And trust me, even some MPs actually came around. I mean, they saw it. I mean, some leaders actually also bypassed that scene. They bypassed this scene here when the man was actually not working.
Also, where you mapama Ghana, Yamisha, you know, super branca, a quite more safe. Yeah, that's why.
When you encounter with one album, Yamisha.
Now, the question that I'm actually asking you as a patriotic Ghanaian of African is that this teacher and this woman, this lady is actually an honorable personality here in Ghana. I don't actually know whether she's a minister or an MP. But guess what? This woman and the teacher who actually have the power and can actually do the best for the citizens of Ghana. Did you hear the inspiration from the woman that, oh, if we had more personalities, more people of your caliber, this country will have blah, 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 blah. That is whatever. Her own cup of tea. But the fact is that no matter how passionate that a citizen is about the development of the state, a leader, you can actually do better because you happen to be the one holding the combined powers of the people or your followers. And it is your job to make sure that things like this, you actually also do it. Let me also remind you that Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana has actually been requesting him to come back and answer some questions because some years ago, 8 good years ago, we believed in them. We gave them the power to lead us and make sure that development like this, ladies and gentlemen, we lack them. So we believed in them, we brought them in power, and we actually gave them the power to make sure that they lead us. And finally, this guy has actually evaporated into a thin air to an extent that we're even pleading in a diplomatic way or manners to make sure that this man will actually come back and show us how he actually was to use the money to affect or to build this Ghana that we actually was to have. So an MP or a leader and just an ordinary civilian, a mediocre civilian who actually have the power more to do it quickly and to do it better, ladies and gentlemen. So for the woman telling this particular teacher that, oh, if we had many peoples of your caliber, this country will have actually, Charlie, you don't actually expect the people to combine their money, come back and do this. That's why we have actually given you the power to assist or to to reach the public wallet so that we can actually use it to better lives. So this is actually a wake-up call to any politicians here in Ghana and across Africa that, look, the people are willing. We have given you the power or the powers. Do what you're supposed to do. And I really love the fact that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is actually doing his best. This man is not actually backing off. He's actually making sure that whatever we have actually entrusted to him as a leader and a defender of the state of Ghana is actually going to use it in the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support.